I screw. I went down. Wow, it's a great day out here. My sons came out this morning and helped me square the building, the foundation today, and now I'm in the middle of putting in the T-brackets. I'm starting to place them all in a position. I'm going to start drilling them into the concrete today. So these are the GRK Caliburn screws. These screws are actually going into the concrete here to hold those T-brackets in. If you're not familiar with GRK, in my opinion, makes the best screws on the planet. And so these things don't have like an anchor and a sleeve or anything like that. You simply drill the hole and bore this, bore the hole out and then run this screw in, and that's it. They come with each case of these, and these things are about 30 bucks a piece. They come with a bit, and they come with a driver bit for your drill. And so that is the screw itself. And they are just nasty, right? And they just go right in. And the great thing about these things is you can take them back out and put them right back in concrete. So they're really cool. And they're rated for just some outrageous numbers like 6,000 pounds per, and then I think maybe, and don't quote me on this, but I think it's like 6,000 pounds and then 3,000 pounds of lift or something like that. So they're just, the numbers on these screws are just nuts. So, but that's what's going in the concrete. So I made this jig to clean out these mortises. I'll show you how it works here. It's pretty simple. It's a piece of Lexan that I bought for like 20 bucks at Lowe's. I screw. I went down. I sat down on the piece of wood and it was uneven. So this is a piece of Lexan, and I just mounted the router to it, and now I can just run this thing through and make sure these are all the right size and nice and good and clean. And that cleans them up really nicely. I stay away from the edge a little bit. I'll get that with a chisel. I went and I took the protecting off of it, so now I can really see through there. I was just kind of messing with it yesterday. I'll chisel these out here in these at the edges. And we'll continue to put some plates in the concrete today. Hey, okay, so what we've got, I'm just gonna try to trim as close as I can. Now that I can clearly see through here, I'm gonna try to trim out as close as I can here and see where it gets us. Man, that actually works really well. Look at that, nice and clean. May not even have to chisel these things out. let's talk about this router real quick and what I did with it here. So the reason why I had to go back through these is because in measuring the barn, I decided that I was going to make these 3/4 of an inch when I was looking at the plans, because my wood is 7.5 rather than 8. So the problem with that is when that plate goes in, I wasn't going to have very much meat of the wood inset into here. So I decided to go back, and after I had already cut them out to 3/4 of an inch, to bring them all the way to an inch. And I could do that with the saw, but it was kind of a pain in the butt, because once that divot is already there, you don't have a flat surface to run your blade on. So I ran across this kind of setup, and it worked out really well. So this is the router that I bought to chamfer the ends of the beams. It's a Makita. I'll tell you the model number here if I can find it. The model number is a RT0701c. And I think it's like $100-ish. It's not a plunge router. It's just a standard trim router. I didn't want to spend a couple, $200-300 on a plunge router. And so, I thought of doing this, and that's, again, I just bought a piece of Lexan. It's like 3/8 of an inch thick, maybe a little bit thinner, but it's stiff, so it won't bend. And I just popped some holes through here. I took a Forstner bit, and I drilled a hole for the blade. And then I marked where these screws for the actual Makita router are at, these screw holes. Tapped them through with just a tap bit, and so that they're flush and not dragging along the wood. Put them in there, and it worked really well. So I could not be happier. And this router itself, for a $100 piece of equipment, it's really powerful. I mean, it's really got some. Now again, that's a brand new blade, so it's terribly sharp. But I'm really, really impressed with this Makita router. I've never actually owned, in 51 years of being on the planet, I've never owned a router, because again, not a woodworker. So I'm really impressed with this thing. Couldn't be happier with it. And I'll take this back off and put the regular Makita parts back on it. And if you need to do something like this, again, the plexiglass, because you can see right through it. This is like 24 by 18 inches, so it looks a little ridiculous when it's on here. But the reason why is because these cutouts are 11 inches. So when I go all the way over here, I need something so big that it will still stay on that side. Maybe you can't see it, so right. So if I'm all the way over here, I've only got a couple of inches here, because these are 11.25 inches long. So again, this portion of it is 2 feet, 24 inches, and then this is 18. And it came like that. I didn't have to cut it or anything like that. I just bought it and said, that's good enough. Popped the holes through it, and it works great. So if you need something like that, check this out. It only took me, I went outside after dinner, and I probably did that in 15 minutes. So it was another long day out in the woods today. What I got done, my neighbor ended up stopping by, and I didn't get nearly as much done as I thought, but it was nice to see him, but I didn't get a chance to say goodbye to you guys. So what I got done is I got the mortises all cleaned out and they're ready to go. I got the 4 corners of the cabin with the T-brackets ready to go into the concrete, and I need 4 more for the interior, and we're ready to start putting posts into the ground, so it should start getting really interesting now. Hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.